Hello, welcome back to Voluminum. This is episode 41. Today we're going to be working on the base area actually, and kind of evolving the area in a way. I'm going to try to add some farms, work on the landscape, finish spawn proofing, all that good stuff. There was actually some recording that I did before this intro of tearing down the basalt farm. I was going to build it over here, but I'm really undecided on like the building I want to build around the basalt farm, so that may or may not come this episode. We'll see. I'm just gonna kind of work on things. I got a ton of things I want to work on, and whatever ends up in this episode, that's what it'll be. I kind of have a skewed idea and plan of what I want to include in this episode, so it's kind of a work as I go kind of thing. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. So I've started and almost done digging the slime chunk that's by the base here. Now, one thing to note is it probably won't be as fast as the other slime chunk I have in the starting area, but this one will be nice because it'll be able to be turned on and off, and I'll just have to stand in one spot in the base. Because some of the spawning pads will be partially covered a block or two by the base itself. Shouldn't be too bad though, the rest of it should be fine. Also, unfortunately, let's turn on the shape renderer. Where I'm AFKing at will only allow me to go down to like Y10, like for the bottom floor, and then even nothing will spawn. So actually this is probably going to be the last floor I dig down to. And it's a little bit bigger, the hole is anyway, than, where's the slime? Oh right, it doesn't really render if I don't go up here. I dug the hole 6 blocks out, 5 for pack spawning, and then 1 for a design for a wall we're going to put around this thing. So the spawn rates should be pretty good actually, aside from a few spawning spaces on this side. And because it isn't as low down as it can go, it will be a little bit less than the other one like I said, but it'll still be fast enough. And I don't even need a slime farm, to be honest. This is kind of just a pseudo project, you know, an inclusion farm to add to the list of farms that are going to be in this base area. So I wanted to go ahead and dig this out before I finished and got around the deco all around this side. And I did finish tilling all the grass around here, and something hit me as I was going around spawn proofing this. Why on earth would this thing land, burn all of the bark off these trees, but not burn the leaves away? So I didn't think it made much sense now that I'm looking at all these trees to keep the leaves there. Like they would have also been burned away with the bark. So I'm going to go around and shear probably all, maybe leave a few leaves on some of the trees. But it wouldn't really make much sense to leave the entire bushel of leaves there around the trees. I'm gonna do that. And moving on down here to the deco / spawns proofing I've been doing under the base. Now, let's turn the gamma off, and you can see how this is kind of looking. I think it looks better with the gamma off, a little bit more natural. But if we show the light levels here, everything goes down to about 8, basically, or 9, where there isn't a block on top of it, like a slab or a button or a magma block. There'll be a button inhibiting a spawn or a slab. This crying obsidian is really nice to use. I think it looks cool kind of coming out of the ground in really weird shapes, and it lights up the block on and next to as well. So it's a little bit less spawn proofing than I have to do the kind of the more that I spam this crying obsidian. So I don't have to cover everything in slabs or magma blocks. So you see all this down here is spawn proof because of the crying obsidian down to 8. And I'm gonna go and do the sand with glass, like I said, like I mentioned before. The bits here along the side have been done with sand or with glass already. And I kind of experimented with this thing. I think I'm gonna have random things like this coming out of the ground, like random weird monster looking, really veiny roots coming out of the ground with end rods floating around to kind of light it up and give it a little bit more like magic-esque kind of thing. I don't know. Coming up with this as I'll go. And I also added some soul sand here, lit that on fire to give that some like burning. I'm gonna add more soul sand along there where I missed spots too. I thought of using soul sand when I got to this side, so that's why it's only over here. I'm gonna add it along this side over here as well. And yeah, this is just a really tedious process. I've got all my boxes down here with all the materials. It takes a long time to do spawn proof a big area because I'm kind of going block by block. I'm doing a button and then some magma blocks, maybe a few slabs, frying obsidian, another button, and so on and so on. And I think at the end, this will look a little bit chaotic, but it'll look good. And it won't be completely dark under here, which is what I'd rather have instead of this pitch black darkness. I like to be able to at least see the bottom of this thing, so like where the edges are. So I've got quite a little ways to go as far as spawn proofing goes, so I'm gonna keep working at it. Well, they look like unwanted stepchildren trees, but I shaved most or all of the leaves off of all these trees and took down a bunch as well. I'd say that's about the size of it. Yep, that makes a little more sense. Just going around and adding some pressure plates on top of the logs that are exposed. This should kind of blend in and keep it spawn proof from these trees that are missing the leaves on top of them anyway. Like there. Composters are so noisy. I'm gonna tear down this fungus farm and bring it over to the base, because I'm tired of coming back to the starting area to use it. Okay, so I got it built up over here at the base. I did a little bit more than I did at the starting area. I just replaced up here with normal double chests, and I kept this little bone mealer thing over here. It's still some manual work, but I'm gonna add in the switches to turn this on and off and to change the fungus type right here. Just gotta get the materials for it. And this thing was small enough to fit in the base, so I figured why not. It doesn't take up much room. And I added the warped and crimson slabs, kind of signify which side. This side is crimson and the other side is warped. And this thing actually puts out quite a lot of items. So I've got to load up with bone meal here. You know, still some manual work for the items. Just take them out, the ones I need, and all the roots and stuff I'll put over here in bone meal, like I've been doing. I didn't feel like adding an actual sorted storage down here below, because though there are a lot of items that come out of this, I figured an item sorting storage was just a little bit much for something this small, and I only need it from time to time, like very infrequently. So I went ahead and just built this up over here. Now I've just got to add the switches. So I set up the wiring and the on and off switches for both types of fungus and the main on and off switch. That works fine. The only problem is that these don't really need levers. But you can't use a button either, because a button triggers twice. So it'll just, you know, spam that side twice. And you can actually just turn on both of these. And it doesn't really matter which one, because, you know, once this is on, I can still just turn this on as well and trigger that side. And then trigger that. And now this side is actually on, but the light's off. So it's doesn't really make much sense to use these switches here. I think I'll keep the on-off switch right here. But I'm going to take down these two, just because it's kind of ugly, this wiring, even though it's kind of in the corner here of the, you know, the base. I don't want there to be too much spaghetti wiring over here in this area. And if I need to change types of fungus, I'll just, you know, over here and smack the note block. It's not that big of a deal. Great success. Perfect. All right, time to AFK for a bit. I just got a twisting vine. I didn't know you could get a twisting vine from this. I've only seen one. The rest of the loot's been just roots. I'm gonna continue to AFK at this. I gotta get a lot of these warped fungi, and then use the tree farm a fair bit to get a bunch of blocks I'm using for a farm that I'm gonna be building over here pretty soon. Alright, got all the materials to build up this slime farm. I'm gonna start doing that. Got all the lava. And this is gonna be a toggleable design. Like I said, it's actually a kind of old video I found by Conspiracy. And it's a nice design, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and build this up. Woo! Alright, I got it all built up and decorated. Now, I'll get to the disassembling and rebuilding of the basalt farm soon. But I want to correct a mistake I made. I mentioned this was by Conspiracy, but this is... it's actually by TDL, or presented by TDL. I think Enemy's Friend helped work on it as well. This is an old farm, actually, with a toggleable design. There's probably better ones out there now, but this one looked really good to me, and I liked it a lot. And Conspiracy was actually the server this was built on, so that's where I got confused. But it's all built up now, and I've got it decorated as well. I think this glazed terracotta looks nice with the lime concrete, and I wanted something that kind of looks a little alien. I want to try to get out of the colors of just these like blue and dark. So I wanted to add in some green here to represent like the slime farm, and to go with this, use prismarine and the green glass, and then prismarine along here as well. It's kind of the blue, the same with the blue here. But I think the colors turned out okay together. And this is our output. I've just got it hooked up to a couple Shulker loaders. I don't think it'll go any faster than 2x topper speed, so 2 of these should do just fine. And they're loaded up. I tested it out a little bit, so it does work. And this is the decoration on the sides that I kind of came out with. More of the roots coming out the sides. I think those look okay as well. And below the ship, all of this is now spawn proof. So any mob farm that I build now is actually fully functional so long as I stand in the AFK spot at the control floor. Everything down here is spawn proof, despite how dark it looks. It's either got slabs on it or a button or a pressure plate all the way down to bedrock. And one big mistake that I made, one oversight I guess I should say, is mobs can actually spawn on these observers beside these doors here. Despite being warned about this from someone in my Discord, literally telling me that they could, I either didn't see it or I read it and forgot about it, so I had to go and spawn proof the lines, the redstone lines here that send the signal to the farm to turn it on and off. And I had to do the same inside here where all of these dark spots were with these observers, because I spawn proofed all the way down there, all in the caves around this area. And I went up and did a test AFK session, and I was still getting a bunch of spawns, but I couldn't find them. And then I was using free cam and came down here in the base and finally saw some that were spawning on these observers. So, yep, a little bit of oversight, but I fixed the problem pretty easily. Just had to light up beside those observers. If I could make two mistakes in one, it would also be that using these observer lines with the doors is not as efficient as you could be with sending signals up and down. Actually, in this basalt farm that I built, I used an on and off switch, or there was an on and off switch used, you know, with the farm, that an observer detects a wall change. So the shape of this wall changes when that other one goes to the middle there. It looks like the side of these, and that observer detects that and sends a signal. And as far as I know, this can be sent all the way from world height to bedrock with just that. So I should have used that in these lines, but now that they're already in, I'm not gonna rip them out and put in the walls. I'll just leave them as is. Any new on and off switches that I put in, I'll use the walls instead, because yeah, that would be much cheaper and easier. But here we are. So this is the slime farm on off switch. We're not gonna get any spawns now that the mob switch is on, but I can show you just how this works at least. So everything's flooded, obviously. I don't have as many floors as you would have in this farm with this farm fully built, but I just hit the switch, so we should see a signal coming in pretty soon. Yep, losing some frames, and there we go. The things are lit up by these jack-o'-lanterns, and we've got just enough spawns here to where the slime will see the golem right there on either side. Hop over here, the big ones get broken down by the lava, and then they fall down to the bottom. Like I mentioned before, this probably isn't as fast as the slime farm in the starting area that I have, just because some of the spawning spaces on this side are blocked by the by the ship, and there are some inconsistencies with the way slime are looking at the golem, and they sometimes take their time to go over the edge. And also, the spawning floors aren't as low as they could be, so there are some things left to be desired about this farm, but I like it a lot, and I think it's a good addition to the base area. And this is the first mob farm in the area. First of a few. I have a few ideas for other few mob farms, passive and hostile. This is not the state that I'm going to leave this basalt farm in. Don't worry. There is going to be something built around this. And this isn't the only farm that's going to be in the building around it as well. I'm going to add something else. I went ahead and built it over here since I had the materials straight from tearing it down. I went ahead and built it up in the spot that it's going to be in anyway. So I've got to add a storage and, you know, add something else to it, and then I'm going to build the decorative around it. Got a lot of resource collecting to do there, but I want to add something to the base area that I think it needs that'll kind of help me get organized. I want to make a farm list wall, kind of stealing from an idea I saw Impulse do on the Hermitcraft server. I think here is as good a place as any. I don't want to build it anywhere around the sides of the control panel floor here in case I need to put an on-off switch somewhere. So I'll put it right over here. I need some lights. Actually, I'm gonna split this up horizontally. Yeah, that's how I want to do it. So on the bottom we'll do lime concrete. This will be crop farms. In the middle we'll do a yellow concrete for neutral farms, and on the top red will be hostile. There we go, lights it up pretty nice. I'll put one down here as well. Alright, I went through and added as many farms as I could think of right now anyway. So starting with crop farms, we got our berry bush farm, which I think you could use foxes for, melon, pumpkin, some obvious ones, cocoa beans, that'll be fun, sugarcane obviously, bamboo, kelp, vine, I've never done, it'll be interesting. Flower farm, I guess we'll just have whatever flower farm we get in the birch forest biome. Netherwort we do actually need, because I want to build a potion room very soon. And brown and mushroom farms. Now I'm sure there is some I'm missing here, so please let me know of any that I could add. This is all I can think of right now. Neutral farms, we've got squid, our cow, chicken, and pigs. I just thought of horse farm, but I don't really know if I want horses here. I don't know, I'll think about it. And chicken is included with that farm would be feathers and eggs as well, instead of just, you know, cooked chicken or whatever. Iron farm we don't need, obviously, but it's just a farm we can add here. And as I've said before, the base area and the motivation for this was kind of including as many farms in one area with a central storage as we wanted to, you know, whatever's possible. So let me know of any other farms in the overworld that we can make that aren't, you know, dimension or biome specific that I can add to this wall. Would be nice. Hostile aren't very many. We got just a general mob farm. A gold farm I counted as hostile, even though they're not inherently hostile. You do have to aggro them in order to get the gold farm to work. And a raid farm. I actually do need a new raid farm. The old one is, I just die too often at it, AFKing. So yeah, these are the ones I could think of. Let me know if I'm missing any, what I could add to this wall. Just a quick reminder, I do have a Discord open for anyone to join, share some ideas, talk about Minecraft, storage tech, all the good stuff. And you're also encouraged to share your projects and your videos as well there. But that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.